Good morning and welcome to John F. Kennedy's Space Center. I'm Joyce Rakelmy and I'm the manager of the Center Planning and Development Office at KSC. Please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. Here's the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Please be seated. I'd like to introduce our first speaker this morning, Robert Cabana. As the 10th Center Director of Kennedy Space Center, he oversees a joint civil service and contractor team of nearly 8,000 employees. He's a veteran of 4 space shuttle missions, and as such, he's dedicated to supporting the NASA mission of making commercially sustained human spaceflight a reality. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming the Director of Kennedy Space Center, Robert Cabana.
Thank you, Joyce. Good morning and welcome to the Kennedy Space Center to share in today's activities. The first thing I'd like to do is acknowledge some of our very special guests on the stage this morning that have been extremely supportive in making this agreement a reality. On stage with me this morning are the Honorable Rick Scott, Governor of the State of Florida. And the Honorable Jennifer Carroll, the Lieutenant Governor. As well as some other very distinguished guests that I'm not going to recognize now as they'll be introduced to you as they speak. In the audience, we also have some elected representatives and servants, and I'd like to recognize them also. The Honorable Grace Swope, Florida Secretary of Commerce and President and CEO of Enterprise Florida. The Honorable Anant Prasad, the Secretary of the Florida Department of Transportation. The Honorable Thad Altman, Florida Senator from District 24. The Honorable Tom Goodson, Florida State Representative, District 29. The Honorable Andy Anderson, Vice Chairman, Brevard County Commissioner, District 5. The Honorable Robin Fisher, Chairman, Brevard County Commissioner, District 1. The Honorable Mary Boland, Brevard County Commissioner, District 4. The Honorable Chuck Nelson, Brevard County Commissioner, District 2. And representing the office of the Honorable Marco Rubio, United States Senator Susan Fernandez and Tom Self. Again, thanks to all of you for your support of KSC and our nation's space program. As we move forward to truly make KSC a 21st century multi-user launch complex, partnerships are going to be one of the keys to our success. And no partnership has been more critical than the one we have with Space Florida that enabled this facility to become used for the manufacture and test of Boeing's CST-100 spacecraft. OPF-3 has had a long and storied history with the Space Shuttle, and it will soon be ready to lead us into the next phase of space exploration by helping to enable commercial operations to low Earth orbit. Commercial operations are vital to our future success as they keep us from being dependent on our Russian partners to deliver our crews to the International Space Station and bring much needed work here to the Space Coast. KSC is moving forward. Through our many partnerships, we will enable commercial space operations while we continue to provide NASA with its expendable launch vehicles that are critical for our science missions and prepare our launch complex and processing facilities for the arrival of the Orion Multipurpose Crew Vehicle and the Space Launch System, our heavy lift rocket that will once again allow us to explore beyond our home planet. I'd like to thank everyone who helped make today a reality. as KSC continues to take yet another step into the future. At this time, it's my pleasure to introduce Mr. Frank DiBello, the President and CEO of Space Florida.
Thank you all and welcome. And thank you, Bob, for your kind words and especially for your friendship on the partnership journey that we're on together. This is truly an historic occasion which marks the beginning of a new era in the evolution of this national asset that we call the Kennedy Space Center. Today we celebrate the completion of an agreement which grants Space Florida access to this historic facility that we all recognize played such an important role in times past, and which will be repurposed to become a visible and important part of our future. It is the beginning of a partnership journey, which we hope will lead to a future development concept for this national asset as a multi-use capability that will ensure the nation and Florida's continued leadership in manned space exploration activities. The state of Florida is very proud to be a partner in that journey. It is also no coincidence that I am standing sort of in the middle between the NASA logo and that of the company, and that Space Florida is centered to this. This achievement today represents the best example of why Space Florida was created. And this event celebrates what can be achieved through partnership when NASA, the state, and private sector work together toward a common goal. Today we also, though, celebrate the future of America's manned space program through the partnership-based evolution of our nation's commercial space capabilities. As you can see to your right and to your left, Boeing has already been working hard to develop a very exciting component to NASA's next generation manned spaceflight program. And we applaud their decision to locate their commercial crew headquarters and manufacturing capability here in Florida, which will continue to be the center of the nation's manned space activities. Before I introduce one of Boeing's key leaders for this project, I'd like to extend my sincere appreciation on behalf of the state of Florida to the White House, certainly, which has stood solidly in support of the evolution of the nation's commercial space capabilities, and especially to the NASA leadership team at headquarters, to Deputy Administrator Lori Garver, who is an old friend, actually a young old friend, and also to Bob Cabana and his staff for their patience and hard work in driving this agreement through its journey to approval. Thanks to your unrelenting interest in seeing vital KSC assets utilized to their fullest potential. This community will now have the opportunity to witness a key component of our country's space future, the commercial space transportation component that is absolutely required for support of the International Space Station, and we will watch that evolve right here in Florida. But we recognize that the White House and NASA cannot do this alone. The future of the nation's commercial space capabilities rests in the hands of many others who must come together in support of these critical capabilities. Only the Congress can determine when we will stop the investment of our nation's tax dollars into the purchase of continued space transportation service from the Russians, and invest instead to develop U.S. workforce and commercial industry capabilities. It's a national imperative that we have a strong commercial space capability in our industry to stand alongside the nation's civil space exploration program led by NASA. We can no longer afford to be at risk of a single-point failure as we strive to utilize the world's greatest engineering achievement, embodied in the International Space Station. And we need commercial space transportation capabilities sooner rather than later. 2018 is unacceptable for us to have the best chance of gaining a return on investment from the ISS for the nation's citizens, taxpayers, who paid almost $100 billion to build it. Adequate and timely investment by congressional leadership is a requirement, and we think the administration's budget request for commercial crew should be fully supported. By placing some of the onus of responsibility on the Congress, I would be remiss if I didn't also recognize the hard work and support provided by the Florida delegation, and especially thank U.S. Senators Bill Nelson and Marco Rubio for all they have done to make this day possible. I would also say, Senator Nelson, without your significant achievement in the unanimous passage of the NASA authorization bill, we would not have reached this event today. So we are very grateful to you. We are excited about the potential for this facility and Boeing's newest Florida-based initiatives, and we recognize the key role played by our U.S. Senators and certainly the Florida delegation in enabling these events. And that certainly includes some of our most staunch supporters, Congressman Bill Posey and Congresswoman Sandy Adams. So thank you. I'd like to also recognize the state of Florida's role, and especially thank Governor Rick Scott and Lieutenant Governor Jennifer Carroll, who are both with us today. I just recently traveled with Governor Scott on a trade mission in Brazil, and I can tell you he does live up to the reputation of being the hardest working governor in the 50 states. I also have to thank you, Governor Scott, for the Lieutenant Governor as chair of our board. This is a lady that is intelligent, clearly has an energy level that keeps us all on our toes, and represents us well in any forum. Together, your collective and unwavering support of this transaction in particular, and your dedication to ensuring that Florida continues to serve as the aerospace leader in manned space activities, are critical to the success of the programs like the one we are celebrating here today. We are grateful for the continued sustaining support you have given to Space Florida for these activities. I also want to comment on the strong sustaining support we received from the Florida Department of Transportation. Secretary Anath Prasad was to have been here, and I believe may still be coming, but his deputy Bob Romig was as well. FDOT has played a crucial role in supporting this KSC project, and we all greatly appreciate their recognition of space transportation as a part of Florida's transportation plan and future. I would like to especially recognize the contributions of Senate President Mike Haradopoulos for his ongoing support of Florida's space industry. He and Dean Cannon in the House, while he could not be here today and they could not be here today, without their strong support over the past couple of years, this project also would not have been possible. From a local perspective, we've always enjoyed the support of our delegation, and I also want to commend Senator Thad Altman and Tom Goodson, who are here today with us, for the support that you continue to give us. Thank you so much for being here. From a statewide perspective, it's important for us to appreciate the efforts of the economic development team that Governor Scott has built. Under Gray Swope's leadership and the governor's leadership, it is strong, united, and speaks with one voice in support of Florida's future as the place to be in business. It has been a pleasure to work closely with Enterprise Florida under Gray's leadership, and also the Department of Economic Opportunity and Workforce Florida, and here at the local level with the county, where we've always enjoyed strong support. The EDC of Florida Space Coast and Workforce Development Board have been true partners in this effort. The partnership between our state organizations is a key component to ensuring that any venture like this gets off the ground and speaks well for our collective future. Space Florida, on behalf of the state of Florida, has been pleased to work with NASA and Boeing over the past year to secure this facility for Boeing's use in developing the CST-100 commercial crew capsule. We are thrilled to be part of this historic announcement today and look forward to continuing to work with NASA and other commercial companies like Boeing to